Rimworld, a game that prides itself on being a storyteller experience. Since I guess we're all in the mood to tell stories, I suppose I should tell mine. I had the urge to start playing Rimworld about a month ago. Coincidentally, a few days after I started planning and building my mod list for Rimworld, a new DLC was announced. Great timing. Biotech. Pregnancy, kids, pet mechanoids, and furries. Everything that a fucking degenerate could ask for. So I finished setting up my game with all the mods the same day that it was announced, and I start playing. I think to myself, I have plenty of time to finish this playthrough before the new DLC comes out and fucks everything up and makes the game unplayable.
3 weeks later.
I did not, in fact, have enough time. Today I open up Rimworld and I see an update. My blood runs cold. I know what's about to happen. It's all over now. Jokes aside, let's talk about Rimworld for a second from a player's perspective. This game's replayability and longevity comes from the vibrant modding community. Really, you guys, all the mod authors in the Steam Workshop for Rimworld deserve a first-class pass into the gates of heaven. You guys are all doing God's work, even the authors on Lover's Lab. Anyway, what this means is that most players, at least the ones that aren't on the spectrum, are playing this game with mods installed. You'd think as a developer you'd want to make sure that your game can be rolled back correctly in order to allow people to play on older versions, but apparently this guy disagrees. So the game updates. I go into the properties for Rimworld and I roll it back into 1.3's latest version, and then this happens. I can't do anything. I can't select any colonists. I can pan the camera around and that's about it. I can't even hit the escape key to open up the menu. The menu isn't even on the UI anymore. I have to Alt F4. Well, that's great. Well, we know that it's a mod causing it, but why? I've been playing on this mod list for 3 weeks at this point. Why isn't the game rolling back correctly? A mystery that I'll probably never figure out. So, playing on 1.3 is out of the picture.
What a shame.
I think to myself, maybe I'll just load up all the mods on 1.4. The game will feed me errors about which mods can't run, right? I can just delete the mods one by one until the game works properly again. And then this happens. I've been staring at this screen for 10 minutes, nothing is happening. What was one of the features of 1.4 again? Startup performance improvements? I guess technically the load up times are 37% faster, rather they're 37% faster at giving me a fucking brain aneurysm. So that's it. My save game is void at this point, and I'm gonna have to wait at least a few weeks until all the mods I was playing with are updated for 1.4 and start this process all over again. Why am I making this video? Why am I actually annoyed about this? Let me read you an excerpt from the Biotech post made about a month ago. The Biotech expansion is our biggest yet. We hired more people and took more time than ever to create more systems, content, and storytelling possibilities. There's so much that we considered splitting this into 2 separate products, of course you greedy little fucks, but we decided to keep it all together as one extra juicy expansion. Bit of a side tangent here before I get to my actual point. The pricing for the base game and all the DLC doesn't make any sense. The base game costs $35. The first 2 DLCs, Royalty and Ideology, are $20 each, but Biotech is $25. Using math, we can assume that Ludion Studios thinks that their first 2 DLCs are worth $20. $20 compared to the base game's price of $35. That's about 60% the price of the base game. That means that the developers believe that those DLCs add 60% more content to their game, right? But that's just not true. Royalty adds a new faction, some new items, and a new casting system, but that's about it. It's not nearly worth that price tag at all. Ideology was even worse. I know people who still haven't bought Ideology because it's just not worth $20. All it does is add religions, that's it. No new factions, nothing to actually add longevity to a normal Rimworld story. All it does is add a religion system. Now, Biotech is priced at $25, which means that the developers think that it adds approximately 70% more content to the game. I disagree, but I could sort of see where they think that they could go with that. Biotech is the largest DLC that we've gotten for Rimworld so far. Biotech is reasonably priced for what it adds to the game in my opinion. I don't think it adds 70% more content, but I would be willing to pay $25 for what I'd probably get out of Biotech. but the first two DLCs just aren't worth the price tag. At this point, the game devs are going to have to consider adding a $60 pack that includes the base game and all the DLC packs together, or just give us a pass that will give us all future DLC for like $100. Rimworld has never gone on sale, not really. Sure, we get 10% off here and there, but 10% off isn't enough to force someone to consider playing a game that they were on the fence about. Rimworld devs need to either buckle down on their price and never do sales, or do some crazy flash sales for like 25 to 50% off for a few hours. That would actually bring a prospective player to buy the game if they were on the fence about it. And I don't understand why they don't do a flash sale once a year randomly just to spike some interest from new players in this game. At this point, they shouldn't be concerned with financials. Rimworld has netted Ludion Studios over $100 million as of 2018. God knows how much money they've made since then. They can afford to do a spur-of-the-moment sale to generate some hype for the game, but they don't. And I don't want this to come across as calling them greedy for sticking to their price tag. There's nothing wrong with saying, I think my game is worth this much, so that's what I'm going to charge for it. I fully agree there's nothing wrong with that. But don't fly around the issue by dropping a tiny 10% off sale every so often. It's insulting. Any person that wouldn't have bought the game before the sale isn't going to be convinced now that it's $1 or so cheaper. That's just stupid. Anyway, side tangent over. My main point, the reason I made this video, is again about mods. Mods are what make this game fun. There is nothing that Tynan can add to this game that pretty much isn't already available via mods. Pregnancy in children? There's a mod on Lover's Lab that does it. Furry bait? It's already been done so much that it's commonplace occurrence to stumble across a furry mod on the workshop. Building your own mechanoids? There are a bunch of mods that do that. Nothing in Biotech is remotely unique to Rimworld. Now, you could argue that these systems are being fleshed out and done in an official capacity, tested thoroughly to ensure that they work flawlessly in the unmodded version of the game, and that we should be excited to see how the mod community handles these new systems and what they'll do to add to them, and on some level you're completely correct. Biotech is a massive improvement because a lot of that content doesn't need to be added via mods anymore. Great. However, there's another side to this that a lot of people might not be seeing. These DLCs aren't that modular. You can't pick and choose which elements you'd like to install and what to leave out, because you won't do anything with them. Community-made mods are, for the most part, modular. You can pick and choose how to customize your gameplay. I'll probably never use the genetic systems added in Biotech. Not because there's already a better mod out there that's been doing it 10 times better, but because it's just not how I like to play the game. And the fact that if I purchase and enable Biotech in order to use the new mechanoid systems or the pregnancy and child systems, I'm also forced to be stuck on a planet with a bunch of super soldiers and furries, then it's just not worth the effort when mods can accomplish a better, more modular experience for free. I'm annoyed that my playthrough got shot in the side of the head and that there's nothing that I can do about it. I'm still annoyed at the business models that Ludion Studios uses because their prices are not adjusted accordingly for the content that their DLCs provide, and I'm really annoyed that the developers of Rimworld haven't just started hiring mod authors to make official DLC for them. A great example is the mod Save Our Ship 2. This is a fantastic mod that allows you to build a spaceship and take off into orbit, fight pirates, or become a pirate yourself and raid other spacefaring vessels. Land wherever you want on the planet you started on, or find a new Rimworld and land there and start over again. It's a phenomenal mod that, honestly, at this point, should really just be in the goddamn game as an official DLC pack. Save Our Ship 2 with some polish from the official developers is something that I would happily pay $25 for. It's crazy to me that Ludion Studios just doesn't really acknowledge or cater to the massive modding community that basically built their game for them. Rimworld would not be nearly as popular without mods. If Ludion Studios didn't open up a workshop and actively try to discourage modding in their game, Rimworld would have floundered. It wouldn't be as successful as it is without mods, so wouldn't the developers use that to their advantage? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I try not to make it ramble on and on for too long. I made this entire thing in like the course of 3 hours, so I apologize if it feels rushed or whatever. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a nice day.